What is best in life? To crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentation of your women.
All right, welcome in, everybody. It's Tuesday night. It's the Tuesday night live stream, Radio Baloney Live. I am your host. Richie Baloney. Looks like we got a couple regulars in the chat already. Xerxes, good to see you. Rumbum, good to see you. Let's see. Rumbum says, can we break a record and get 10 likes on the stream before it even begins? I'm sorry to tell you this, Rumbum. You have failed. We did not get 10, but we can get there. And nice effort, by the way. Nice effort. All right. So what are we doing? What are we doing today? I don't even know. I just kind of sat in front of my computer, turned it on, and here I am doing a live stream. Well, actually, we know what we're doing. We're talking about the DNC, of course. We're talking about a bunch of stuff. DNC, lots of crazy stuff going on there. We're talking about Kamala being a crazy, dirty, filthy drunk. Of course. I mean, look, we've all been around drunk people, right? We've all been around waste cases. We've all been around people that have been hammered, trying to act normal. This is exactly what it looks like. Look at her. You don't even need to hear it. You can see it in her face. She's hammered. Anyway, I mean, and I think this has been kind of obvious for a while, by the way. And we'll take a look at that. And, I wonder why, because it brought to mind, she's had a lot of trouble with her staff and staff exoduses and staff quitting and complaints about her being crazy and unreasonable and unpleasant. And sometimes that could have a little something to do with being hammered all the time, having a drinking problem. So we'll take a look at all that. Of course, we've got more Kamala stuff because, this is kind of what's going on in the news right now. So we shall talk about it. Election stuff, of course. Interesting stuff here about RFK Jr. and this Nicole Shanahan. Talk about maybe endorsing Trump, dropping out and endorsing Trump. They seem to think Kamala is a big threat. So that's interesting, isn't it? Got a couple little things on Trump here. Couple little things on Trump here. I think he'll enjoy them. Just a couple. We got to give Trump his time, don't we? And then just the crazy, the usual dingbats, goofballs, maroons, whatever you want to call them. We're going to talk about them, of course. And just like what is going on there? Somebody's getting left out of the inheritance. I can tell you that much. This is all the stuff I've curated from X since just the random stuff I've curated since the last live stream on, I guess it would be Sunday. Some more Milton Friedman. I really need to do a deep dive on Milton Friedman because, he's very good and he's very quotable. Douglas Murray, of course, he's great. All kinds of crazy stuff. You got leftist demonstrators, leftist protesters acting like they're possessed by demons. And they do a pretty convincing job. You know what? I'm sold. It's demons. Let's see. We got people going into places they shouldn't go. There's a reason it's hard to get in there because you're not supposed to go in the first place. That doesn't look like fun. Danny Polishchuk, I'm a fan. I think he's really funny. He's doing a little takeoff on the mobile abortion and vasectomy vans at the DNC. We'll talk about that. Kind of macabre to my mind. Kind of macabre. Elon Musk commenting on the UK becoming a police state. It's it's crazy. Here's Selma Hayek, 55. Looks pretty good. Anyway, let's keep going. Lots and lots of stuff. So let's get into it. First, Rumbum says, was that Biden and his daughter just now? So glad the sprinkler system didn't go off, or they probably would have both taken off their clothing and busted out the shampoo. I had a joke about this, and you beat me to the punch. Let's take a look at this. So obviously, he's acting like he's crying there at least, and they're hanging out on the stage there. And I thought, he probably thinks they're in the shower together because he's often quite confused. But there he is, apparently dabbing away a couple of tears. It's not actually that. What happened is that they injected him with too much adrenochrome, and it started coming out of his eyes. So he had to wipe it away. He'll save that, though. He'll save that kerchief, that napkin for later when he needs to. He'll probably suck on it. Because, you don't get rid of good adrenochrome. Not at his age. So they put him on. He did his speech. I'm sure you guys have seen at least parts of the speech. Do we have something in here? I think we do. Here he is. Ranting like a lunatic, ranting like a modern day Hitler.
We're not allowed. So
oh, this is him. Okay, he's very confused here.
he wrote the following quote: "Women are not without electrical. We're not allowed. So not without electoral or political power." No kidding. He wrote the following.
No kidding. No kidding what? Women aren't without electrical power? What? No kidding. Okay, I guess so. Rumbum says, well, was that song choice on purpose to troll Biden? LOL, you're alive. It was, we can talk about the timing of it, right? It was on the Monday. It was late. Most of the people on the East Coast were asleep by then. Let's see if we've got another. I think I've got a clip of him ranting and raving like a lunatic on the stage. Let's see. Where is it? Okay, I must have it somewhere else. Maybe get to that, but I'm sure you guys have seen the clips of him being a crazy person and ranting and raving about Trump and lying about Trump and the Fine People's hoax again and again and again. In fact, I do have that here somewhere. Where is it? Hold on. Let me look for it. Maybe I need to do this. Update it. Hold on, you guys. Oh, yeah, this is good. We'll get to this as well. Matt Walsh is there in his disguise, his clever disguise that he used from Am I Racist, the documentary. Let's see. I really want to find the clip of him ranting and raving about, anyway, it doesn't matter. Okay. Never mind. They put him up there. They put him up there on Monday, the first day, and they put him on late. So most of the people on the East Coast were asleep by then, right? So that's not an accident. That's not an accident. He's an embarrassment to the party now, all right? So they wanted as few people as possible to see him. They get him on the first day. They have him speak so late that almost nobody's going to, the people there will see him. Most of them, if they could stay awake, and the people on the East Coast won't see him. And now he's expected. That was his funeral, by the way. That was his funeral, right? Delivered his own eulogy there. That was his funeral. And now he's expected to just go into hiding, I guess, until the election is over. That's my expectation. They're embarrassed of him. His speech didn't go very well, as we just saw, that something about women's electrical power. The whole thing was like that. But this whole thing was an indignity to him. And the message is pretty clear. The timing when they put him on, the timing is clear. You are an empty, dried up old husk that's no longer of any use to its masters. That's what the masters are telling him. You're done. Now get the fuck out. We've replaced you with a fresher, younger, more diverse skin suit. And that's all Kamala is. She's a skin suit, right? There's nothing in there. She's totally devoid of content. Nobody seems to care over there for some reason. I don't know why. But in his speech, he sounded angry and bitter, extremely angry and bitter. And it's no wonder. He's just picked the wrong target. I mean, Trump didn't force him out. Trump wanted to run against him. Shouldn't be mad at Trump. So he picked the wrong target. It's just that, of course, he didn't actually write that speech himself. He didn't put the words up on the teleprompter that he read. Somebody else did that for him. And I understand he was angry and cranky up there because he doesn't understand what's happening to him, probably. But he knows that, they don't really like him. Really, at the end of the day, they're laughing at him. End of the day, they're kind of disgusted by him. They find him kind of grotesque. They just want him to go away. He's no longer useful. Again, he's just, to them, he's just this dried up old husk that's no longer of any political use whatsoever. Plus, he's male and he's the wrong color. Right? So now they've got a diverse empty vessel to follow and to cheer for. And they just want him gone. They just want him out of there. So they put him up late Monday night, kind of out of the way, and then just get rid of him. Did his daughter just lead him straight to a farm somewhere? I don't know. I mean, I guess he's technically still president, right? If he ever was in the first place. But they just kind of really want him to go away now. It'd really be best if you just go away now, Joe. In fact, we're not asking you. Just go the fuck away. Nobody wants to hear from you. So, yeah, just a big, sordid, kind of grotesque thing. I don't feel sorry for him at all. I don't have the slightest bit of pity for him after everything he's done. He's proven himself to just be an evil man. To just be an evil, self-interested, totally, morally compromised politician and nothing more. Just an empty vessel for power. See, Rumbum says, the fact that he is still spewing the same debunked Trump quotes and no one is calling him on it is just so disgusting. It is. I mean, even Snopes. In fact, you know what? Fact check. Even Snopes. Trump, fine. People. Even Snopes. No, Trump did not call neo-Nazis and white supremacists very fine people. Even Snopes. False. If even Snopes is saying it, it's false. Then it's super false. Then it's as false as anything can ever be. Right? If they're saying that something bad about Trump is false, it has to be really false. It has to be extraordinarily false for even them to admit it, not to find some way to weasel in well, maybe, maybe, possibly, It has to be extraordinarily false. Yet he's still out there saying it. I mean, Biden probably has no idea. Maybe he believes it. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he doesn't care. It's just something good to say. He just knows that's something good to say, right? That'll get some applause for him. What are the odds? What are the chances, even that Biden knows whether it's true or not? Like 1 in a million, perhaps? What are the chances that he knows whether anything is true or not? I don't know. All I know is that if it's on the teleprompter, he will attempt to read it. Not saying he will read it. He'll attempt to read it. Let's see. Good Xerxes in the chat. Good to see ya. Xerxes says that she liked. Well, thank you very much. Very generous of you. Let's see. Rumbum says, hail Xerxes 123. Absolutely. Let's do a hail for that. Rumbum says, yes, straight up radio. Doubt anybody will see him till he's gone if he makes it to January. Well, that's the big question, if he makes it to January, right? Now, I don't think that they'll try to, Hillary Clinton him or do what Hillary Clinton would do to him before January. Because he's just convenient to have in there, right? Like he's just, he's still capable of signing, the bottom of a piece of paper, which is all he's really needed for, right? I think that's all that he's ever done. They just put things in front of him and he signs them. Right? He's reliable enough to do that. But yeah, just the universe may decide that they've had enough of him, right? So, and that's, beyond anyone's control, obviously. But we shall see. We shall see. Brumbum says, why do I get the feeling that Biden will use that hanky soaked in adrenochrome like some kind of chewing tobacco? He will. And if you just got in, you didn't hear it. I said, he's not crying there. It's just that they pumped too much adrenochrome into him and it was coming out of his eyes. That's all. That's all that was going on. Let's see. Xerxes says his wife Jill will farm him out so she can party. Yeah, she seems to be a lot less warm to him now all of a sudden, now that the power's slipping away, right? But she'll have him out, bumbling his way through, speeches, probably they'll have to be pretty short ones, because that's how presidents make their money, right? They'll go and speak to, some group somewhere, some interest group, and they'll pay them, $500,000 or something, and speak to some think tank or something, some trade organization or something, and they'll pay them exorbitant sums of money. Almost seems like they're getting bribed after they're president for some reason. It's crazy. But they make millions and millions, tens of millions doing that. It's crazy. I know the Clintons made a fortune. The Obamas made a fortune. I mean, they're both worth like hundreds of millions of dollars now, and it seems like that's pretty much how they made their money. Almost feels like, just getting paid back for something you might have done while you were president, huh? But yeah, Jill will try and use him in any way, I think, to, for whatever kind of power and money that he can still bring in. Which, it will still be a lot. Let's see. We got JJ Nevada in the chat. Good to see ya. Let's see. Rumbum says, agreed, she'll try to sell him off to stay in the limelight, but doubt anyone will pay for a Biden speech that's basically on par with a toddler smashing its fists on a keyboard. Yeah. No, somebody will. There's deals have been made. Deals have been made. And deals have been made to get him out as well, to get him out of the race as well. He's been promised things. Guaranteed. Let's see. Bello Hollow says he already stole America and sold us off to every foreign entity. That seems like the plan, right? Just hollow out the country, just make as much money as possible. For the people that are actually making the decisions. That's the US. That's apparently Canada, the UK, France, everywhere in the Western world. It's all like one big coordinated action to hollow out Western civilization. Nevada says, imagine how low you have to be to pay money to listen to one of those losers. Yeah, promises have been made, though. Promises have been made, guaranteed. JJ Nevada says that Biden sucks more than True Gina. We got a True Gina in the chat. A True Gina, anybody who drops a True Gina in the chat always gets an applause, right? It's a combination of Trudeau and vagina, obviously. All right, so let's move on from this. What's going on here? So Matt Walsh. Matt Walsh is in incognito. He's in disguise at the DNC in his costume from Am I Racist, his new documentary. This brilliant costume of different glasses and a wig with a ponytail that apparently managed to fool all of those, critical race theorists and gender studies professors and whatnot in his documentary. So very impressive, but apparently he's been noticed, and they're not doing well. Beth for Rockland, who's a freelance writer, consultant, a Rockland County legislator. She's saying, fam, Matt Walsh blog is at the Democratic convention posing as a delegate. Do not talk to him. Do not talk to him. Call him out. Tell security if you can. Please reshare to spread the word. This is very telling. The tell security if you can, because in the clip that we saw that we looked at on Sunday from the Am I Racist, where Matt Walsh basically goes and talks to a bunch of the grievance studies people, and DEI people and critical race study people to basically get them to embarrass themselves trying to explain what it is they do and why everything is racist. And he went to one of the struggle sessions, as pretending to be somebody called, I think, Stephen, and they ended up calling the police on him. He was not threatening in any way in the entire interaction, but they called the police. The people that hate the police and want to defund the police end up calling the police pretty quickly when they're actually in no danger whatsoever. But just the only danger is that somebody's disagreeing with them. So it's not really surprising. I mean, it's hilarious. Tell security if you can over Matt Walsh in a disguise. Really? Nobody is in any danger from Matt Walsh. Do not talk to him. That's another thing, right? They don't want you talking. The cult members don't want you talking to anybody outside the cult. There's a danger in that. Because within their cult, they police themselves viciously. So you're not allowed to notice things, obviously. You're not allowed to wonder about things. You're not allowed to say something like, well, are we sure that, like a 12-year-old can give informed consent to take puberty blockers and decide they're born in the wrong body? That gets you kicked out quick. That gets you kicked out of the cult really fast, immediately. Because they're terrified of people being exposed to sanity. Terrified of it. Because that's just a little bit of exposure to sanity can go a long way, right? They don't like that. Do not talk to him. He might say something that makes sense and causes some cognitive dissonance in your brain. He might cause something. He might say something that causes you to go, oh yeah, that kind of makes sense, doesn't it? No, nothing makes sense, and that's good. It's good that nothing makes sense. When things make sense, that's because they're white supremacy or they're far right. No, nothing makes sense, and that's good. That's a good thing. I just thought it was hilarious seeing this reaction. Apparently it's genuine. Apparently it's a genuine reaction. Let's take a look at what people are saying underneath. How dare you discriminate against this sensitive gender fluid Democrat man who just got a vasectomy? For shame. For shame. He is a certified anti-racist DEI consultant. Why are you racist? Why are you so racist? You're not very tolerant. Yikes. No, they're not very tolerant. They say they're tolerant, but they don't seem to be actually very tolerant at all. Let's see. Xerxes says, how does Walsh keep that straight face? Is a true comedian. Yeah, I know. It's quite amazing, actually. It must be difficult. Rumbum says, I really want to watch his new doc, but I honestly don't think I can make it through the cringe that is these crazies. I don't know how Walsh can push through it without hardcore suicidal thoughts. Well, you know, one of the reasons I was so pleasantly surprised by What is a Woman, his previous documentary, is that he actually managed to do it with a lot of good humor. I mean, aside from it just being really well produced, I think on every level, it was a really good documentary. But it was the good humor throughout it. You know, it's not Dumb or Dumber. It's clever and it is fun. You will find yourself laughing out loud if you watch it. If you haven't watched that and you watch it. And I expect this one to probably be about the same. I mean, humor goes a long way. Bello Hollow says, a poor guy, he must be barfing in his mouth with every DNC speech. Yeah, hard not to. JJ Nevada says, question nothing. That's the attitude of the lunatics who want to call security on somebody who disagrees with them for disagreeing with them. And do not talk to him. Do not talk to him. That's the attitude. Question nothing on their own incoherent ideology. But that's the thing, because if your ideology is totally incoherent, right, it doesn't stand up to much scrutiny. So you have to be kept away from that. Just kept away from just, I don't know, anything rational, any kind of salient point. Rumbum says, being exposed to even the tamest opposing view will break the cult spell. Yeah, that's why they fight so hard against it, right? Well, if you're truly in the cult, no, there's nothing that will get you out. But for people that are, you know, kind of going along with it for fashion or whatever, or just because it's, you know, the path of least resistance, then it can break that spell. All right, so let's see what we got next. From Jordan Peterson, joy. So he posted this. I'm not sure where this came from, where he got this from, but let's take a look.
I've got the joy. Let's do this.
Yeah, that is the result. That's always the result when you have far leftism. But the thing is that they will lie about it, right? So they lie about it. Right now they're saying that crime's at an all-time low or lowest in 50 years or something. Yeah, I mean, when you got a bunch of police departments that stop reporting to the FBI, or when you just made a bunch of stuff that was crimes, not crimes, you just stop reporting crime can make look like that. I mean, you know, people's experience may say differently. And there's some people who may even ignore their own eyes and ears. But ultimately, you know, I mean, the hope is enough people realize they're being blatantly lied to, that it makes a difference. But who knows? Who knows what will happen in November? All right, what's going on here? So, all right, this is funny. So the teleprompter glitches here. This is Jamie Raskin, who is, as far as I can tell, just an inveterate liar.
Someone should have told Donald Trump that the president's job under Article 2 of the Constitution Someone should have told Donald Trump. Someone should have told Donald.
So when I say they're just reading things that other people put on teleprompters for them, this is what I mean. He doesn't know. He's just reading something off of a teleprompter. That's it. He doesn't know anything. It's all just a game. It's all just a game. It's just a zero-sum game, right? Where victory is all that matters, right? And how you get there doesn't matter. The ends justify the means. Just read it. Just read what somebody else put in the teleprompter for you. Just read it. That's all we need you for. Just do that. Just say the things that we want you to say, that we need you to say. Just say it. Just say it. Just read the teleprompter. It'll be fine. I'm sure there won't be any glitches. Well, what if there's a glitch? Oh, there won't be. I'm sure you could fake your way through it anyway. I don't think I can. And he couldn't. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He's just reading off a teleprompter. And this kind of sums up so much of modern politics, but especially the left, right? They don't care. It's just about winning. It's all they care about. They will say anything. Biden will say anything. He'll repeat the fine people hoax 1,000 times, 1,000,000 times, 1,000,000,000 times, 1,000,000,000,000 times. If he could, he'd just say it over and over and over again until the heat death of the universe. If he thought it would preserve some power for him, right? Don't give a shit. They don't give a shit. Anyway. We already looked at that one. So one question was, will the apparently 100,000 protesters that are either at the DNC or going to the DNC, will they fucking lose their shit? Will they protest? Will it be a summer of love at the DNC? And my thoughts have been that, no, they're going to lock that down hard, right? This isn't the border, right? This is not the border with Mexico. This isn't January 6th. No, for this, they'll lock it down. No problem. They'll keep it locked down. I mean, they're keeping these barriers. The safe zone is, I think, it's like miles outside of the DNC. So, no, they'll keep that locked down. I mean, walls are good sometimes to protect them, to keep them from being embarrassed. Then they're good. DNC from Andy No. DNC, following the wall breach on Monday, so that's yesterday, by leftist protesters, officials have put up a third barrier to protect the convention. The fortress security stands in contrast to the Democrat position that walls and fences don't work for border security. But the thing is that they've learned that nothing matters. As long as you've got 90% of the media on your side that will say anything to protect you, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if everything is just full of contradictions. It doesn't matter. Right? You just pick whatever truth serves you at that moment, whatever truth is politically expedient at that moment. Right now, it serves them to care a great deal about walls and barriers. And it doesn't matter because they've got, 95% of the press coverage will either ignore it or say it's good. I mean, the fact that it's all leftists too. These aren't Republicans going to the DNC to protest. These are all leftists. These are all leftists, far leftists. These are the people that the Democrats have nurtured. Right? These are the people that they nurtured during the summer of love, the fiery but mostly peaceful riots and looting and murder and assault. Right? These are the people that they put these walls up to keep out are the people they've been nurturing. Remember how Antifa, they're anti-fascist. Remember Don Lemon? Antifa, well, that's anti-fascist, and fascist is bad. It's like, yeah, but they kind of act like the fascists, though. Right? They're the ones who act like the fascists. I said anti-fascist. That's good enough for me. Those barriers are there to keep the people that they have nurtured, the people that they've coddled, the people they've encouraged. to keep the people that they encouraged to burn down cities. Remember Kamala Harris? Kamala Harris appealed to people to bail out, to donate, to bail out those poor leftist protesters, rioters, looters, assaulters, murderers. For justice or something, right? Not at all because they felt it helped them in the upcoming election. None of that, right? But in any case, sometimes walls are bad. Sometimes they're good. It just depends on whether or not it serves leftist interests. And I think that's pretty transparently obvious at this point, isn't it? But, that was just the first night. Now, the first night, there were some incidents, but nothing crazy. And my thought was that, they were going to lock this down. They're going to lock this shit down hard. They don't want to be embarrassed by their own little Frankenstein's monsters that they've created. So in this case, they're going to keep it locked down pretty hard. What are you guys saying? Let's see. Bello Hollow says, I can't wait to have my official DNC. I can't wait to have my official DNC autographed maxi pad. That's a good one. Nevada says, this guy's one of the worst commies we have. What an ass clown. Yeah, you're talking about Raskin there? Yeah, he's awful. Rumbum says, when a commie comes along, you must mock it. Mock it good. Anyone with at least 2 brain cells to rub together, you must mock them. And it's also good for you and healthy. It brings down your stress level. It's excellent. Rumbum says, fuck Ratskin. Ratskin. I hadn't heard that one for JB Ratskin. Ratskin. That's a good one. I like it. Let's see. Xerxes says, more protesters outside than delegates inside. It's something we should probably try and keep track of while we're doing this stream, because we'll probably go, we'll go at least 2 hours, maybe 3 hours tonight. If you guys see any news, if they're starting to freak out over there, if they burst through some of the barricades or something and try to descend on the main building, put it in the chat and we'll go and take a look. Let's see. Let's see. Bello Hollow says they'll burn that shit down in Chicago just for shits and giggles. Yeah, because that was kind of the catchphrase for 2020, right? Burn that shit down. Well, one thing I'm interested in, because they have an army of police there, right? They have all the police that they should have had maybe like on January 6th, right? They've got them here for the DNC. They've got all the police they should have had for the giant riots and looting and all of that, and the revolutionary communist orgy that happened in 2020. But they've got them for this. So they're going to keep them away from the center, from the event itself. But there are people that were really, really excited for some looting to happen. To break into some stores to, I guess, express the voice of the unheard by taking a bunch of Gucci bags or Nike shoes or something. Because that's how you do it, by the way. That's how the unheard get a voice, by stealing expensive shit. So there's going to be a lot of people who'd be very disappointed if there's not some looting going on. Because let's face it, I mean, that's half of it, right? Half of it. A lot of people showed up in 2020 just to get the free shit. Wait for somebody to smash the windows and run in and grab your share to express your unheard voice. Let's see. Rumbum says, they'll blame Trump or any Trump supporters. Well, they'll try to. But these aren't Trump supporters there. That's the thing. But again, they are shameless liars. So let's see. Oh, looks like we got Candle Monkey in the chat. Good to see ya. All right. So additional security fencing put up inside the DNC. The two levels of barriers were not enough. They had to add a third. So I think there's a lot of crazies there. Let's see. DNC day 2. I'm currently outside of the Planned Parenthood mobile health clinic that patients are actively walking in and out of. So far, I've watched, well, let's expand this. So far, I've watched 1 male patient and 3 female patients enter the truck. Patients pre-registered to receive abortion pills or vasectomies, with Planned Parenthood filling up every appointment slot. I tried to interview a patient as she left, but I was quickly stopped by the Planned Parenthood staffers. Well, that's not a surprise, is it? Again, they don't like questions.
It's like, why just not create the right seats? All they had to do was increase the zone where the journalists could work and set the seats back a little further, and then everyone would have been fine.
So she's currently outside, 6 hours ago, outside of the Planned Parenthood mobile health clinic. It's a weird obsession, right? I've always thought it was a weird, hill to die on, right? Like, no, we have to kill babies, more of them, all of them. I've always thought it was a weird hill to die on, and just to have there's no reasonable discussion about anything, right? It's just, no, you must kill as many as possible. You must have as few people in the world as possible. I find it strange. It's almost like they have some sort of subconscious knowledge that they're terrible and they're awful for the world, for humanity, for everything. And again, some kind of subconscious urge to just make less of themselves so that, that way the future will be better. So they don't ruin, the entirety, they don't ruin humanity forever. They don't ruin the world forever. It's like nature compensating or something. It's like, nature says, well, these people are fucking awful. How did this happen? Well, maybe it'll just make them not want to reproduce. And then eventually there won't be any. It'll be annoying for a long time, but then eventually there won't be any more. And then we can get on with things. Because it's a strange thing, right? To be so obsessive about this and the vasectomies and why vasectomies with the abortion truck, right? It's just less. Is it just a Malthusian thing? Just there's too many people, get rid of all the people. Actually, the world would be better if there were no people. I find it very weird, creepy, kind of macabre obsession that they have. Let's see. Hey, we got Antipop in the chat. Good to see you. Nevada says instead of food trucks, they have abortion trucks. They do. In fact, we have a funny, where is it? I've got something else on this. Let's go to this tab here. Let's find Danny Polishchuk. Because this relates to it. Okay. You guys know I think this guy's pretty good. He does a lot of stuff with Ryan Long. He does the Boys Cast, I think. And but here he's talking. Well, I'll let you guys listen.
Hi, I'm Marty Cordova, and if you're watching this video, you are one of the many entrepreneurs who are interested in getting out of the rat race and working for yourself with our revolutionary new business model providing mobile abortions and vasectomies. In 2008, food trucks became all the rage following the Great Recession, but have since become oversaturated and difficult to profit from. Now, in 2024, the new mobile opportunity on the horizon is our abortion and vasectomy trucks here at Bye Bye Baby. Did you know that every year in the US alone, there are close to 1 million abortions performed at an average cost of $750 during the first trimester and up to $2,000 in the second? That alone is over a $1 billion industry. Then add in 500,000 vasectomies per year at an average cost of $1,000 each, and between the two, you're looking at close to a $2 billion total addressable market and growing. While Planned Parenthood has recently popularized the mobile abortion and vasectomy model, it is actually a concept as old as time. Here's a drawing from the Middle Ages advertising a similar service. Gone are the antiquated days of going to a clinic or doctor's office and sitting in the judgment-filled and sterile waiting room for hours on end to see a provider. With Bye Bye Baby, someone schedules an abortion or vasectomy through our handy app, and we show up to wherever they are. We're basically Uber Eats for abortions and vasectomies. It's truly exciting stuff. Currently, our only competitor is Planned Parenthood, who possess a very limited fleet of trucks. Under our ambitious expansion plan, we expect to have 10,000 trucks on the roads operating in the United States within 3 years. We also provide all the training needed to provide vasectomies and abortions up to 36 weeks. For as little as a $200,000 initial investment, you can be on the road to financial independence. So this November, prepare for the blue wave to turn into a green wave of profits for you, but only if you have the ambition and desire to improve your life and the lives of countless people in this country.
So I like this because the joke is really about the perverse incentives behind all the empathy and compassion and just this and social causes in general. This is like, my body, my choice, and will that be cash or credit, right? It's about the perverse incentives, and this is aside from people, two people who are on either side of it and both have principled positions. This is more again about the perverse incentives behind it, and this is not going to be like an anti-capitalism rant because I like capitalism. And what's happening with like Planned Parenthood isn't capitalism. What's happening with the medical industry isn't capitalism because it's all subsidized by the government and promoted by the government. But I like the fact that he's getting in behind it, right? What's behind it, right? Who's behind the curtain? And then it's at the end of the day, there are, as I say, perverse incentives to do this. Hey, the world is overpopulated and every new baby kills a polar bear, didn't you know? But for only $999.99, you can do your part and get a vasectomy. We'll even throw in this dying alone t-shirt and bumper sticker, Got another one that says, my ancestors lived for nothing. Hope you're happy. That's free, by the way. That's free. That comes free with every vasectomy. Let's throw them into the abortions too. What the hell? So a lot of people were going to get really mad at him over this. And you know what? That's when you're doing things right. So these abortion trucks, they're giving away abortion pills, apparently, is what they're doing. Abortion. So they're not actually doing like a surgical thing in there. They're giving abortion pills and apparently actual real vasectomies. So I don't know. You really want to get a vasectomy on a bus? Really? Seems like it might be kind of delicate. Even if they do throw in the t-shirt. Let's see. What's going on here? So Benny Johnson, I asked Kamala Harris supporters at the DNC convention why they support Kamala Harris. The responses are just incredible. Let's take a look at this. Of course, they don't know why. That's spoiler alert. They're not going to know why.
Trump or Kamala? What do you think? Trump or Kamala Harris?
Oh, God, it's Kamala, definitely.
Yes?
1,000%.
Yes?
Yeah, absolutely.
What's your favorite thing Kamala's done in the last 4 years?
Honestly?
Yeah.
Actually, don't use this.
Oh, Kamala. Kamala Harris. Yeah, Kamala.
Kamala, why?
Well, she's honestly,
Okay, well, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not super knowledgeable, so I can't really speak too much on it.
because Trump sucks ass.
Yeah, pretty much same thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Trump or Kamala? What do you think? Yeah. Do you know who Tim Walz is?
Who is he?
Is it? I mean, I'm asking the same question, right?
I've been doing my research lately,
Yeah.
so I ain't 100% yet, so I can't answer that yet.
Yeah. Trump or Kamala?
Kamala's she's the one.
What's your favorite thing about the last 4 years that Kamala Harris been vice president?
She wasn't the president. If she was the president, then I could comment on that. But she wasn't the president.
She was vice president.
Vice president.
Kamala. Of course. That's a no-brainer.
All right.
She's a woman. She's a woman.
Yes. How's it been selling? Good?
I don't know. We just had a bunch of police that told us to burn our shirts.
So, I mean, obviously that's going to be edited. But there really isn't any content there with Kamala. So there isn't really an answer to get what's your favorite thing about what she's done. Well, she hasn't done anything. And the thing she was supposed to do, she didn't. I mean, the best you could say on the border is that she failed. The worst you could say is that she just didn't do anything at all. And you can't even bring up the border because apparently now the media is telling us she had nothing to do with it. She wasn't the border czar after all. It turns out, according to the media, because they're honest. So, yeah, I mean, it's not surprising, right? I mean, there is nothing to say. There are no accomplishments. It's all just fashion. And we see stuff like this, and that's what it exposes. It's all just fashion, right? Well, she's a woman, so there's identitarianism, right? The rest of it is just, no, Trump sucks ass, right? So Trump bad, whoever else is good. Anybody else is good, right? It's just fashion. It's just, they've been told who the winning team is supposed to be, and they just go with that. That's it. Nothing else. All right, let's move on. What's going on here? Here's Governor Josh Shapiro knowingly and intentionally repeating the Charlottesville lie to paint Donald Trump as a bigot. Caitlin Collins, who was quick to push back on Republicans, does nothing to correct him. Not journalism. Well, let's take a look. This is not surprising in any way.
Seems that anti-Semitism is what played a role in you not ultimately being selected as the vice president. What's your response to that?
Donald Trump has absolutely no credibility to speak on that issue. He is a person who's acted bigoted. He is a person who spreads hate. And he is a person who routinely divides people in this country. Listen, when folks marched in...
None of what he said there means anything. All just completely empty words.
Charlottesville, and quite literally said with tiki torches in their hand, Jews will not replace us. What did Donald Trump say? He said there are good people on both sides. There were not good people on both sides.
Which we've already established. False. Even Snopes says it's false. No, Trump did not call neo-Nazis and white supremacists very fine people. Even Snopes says that is false. And if Snopes says it's false, it has to be super false. It has to be super duper false if it involves Donald Trump. If it's anything that makes Donald Trump look bad, for them to say it's not true, it has to be ultra false. And what does she do? She doesn't do a damn thing, does she?
I want to be crystal clear about something. Anti-Semitism played absolutely no role in the dialogue I had with the vice president. It is true that there is anti-Semitism.
We all know they didn't pick you because you're Jewish. We all know that. We know there's like 100,000 protesters, anti-Israel protesters showed up at the DNC. We all know it. We all know it. We know that everything you're saying is a self-serving lie. All right.
In our country, it is true that there is some anti-Semitism within our party, but we need to stand up and speak out against hate in all forms, anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, racism, any form of hate.
What about other white people? Can you speak out against hatred against that? Because there seems to be a lot of that in your party, too. A lot of it. You know, I know you think that you're going to skate by as one of the good ones, one of the good whites, right? Because you'll ignore all of it. Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know. Will you really, though? Will you really in the long run? I don't know. Anyway, let's continue.
Hatred and bigotry has no place. And what I want to see from leaders is what Kamala Harris is doing and what I try and do every day, speaking and acting with moral clarity, something that Donald Trump is bankrupt on. He has no moral clarity, and he has absolutely no business.
Well, you just said Trump was morally bankrupt and he had no moral clarity after just spending that entire, well, jammed a lot of lies into a minute there, didn't he?
Signing on this issue, given his track record.
Governor Josh Shapiro, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Caitlin.
Of course, no pushback whatsoever.
Aaron?
All right, Caitlin, thank you very much. And now let's.
That
Yeah, thank you for doing your job. Thank you for doing your job. Your job, which is not being a journalist, right? Being an advocate, right? Just being a mindless propaganda robot. Thank you for doing that. Thank you, Caitlin, for being a mindless propaganda robot. You know, don't worry. Don't worry. The check will, you know, the money will be deposited into your bank account at the end of the month, like always. Just keep doing what you're doing. JJ Nevada says, what about Christian hatred? Yeah, Shapiro doesn't care about that for some reason. He doesn't care about that bigotry. Plenty of that in his party. Hey, we got POTUS George Kirby in the chat. Good to see you, sir. Let's see. Okay, yeah. So Elon Musk here. When Snopes knows it's a hoax, this is no, Donald Trump did not call neo-Nazis and white supremacists very fine people. Biden repeated the lie. That guy just repeated the lie. There are apparently millions of people, tens of millions of people who still believe the lie. Why? Because of that. That's the reason why. That's the reason why. Thing is, difference is they're allowed to lie on most of the media. They're allowed to. Don't care. No, it's not about that. It's not about truth. Yet journalism isn't journalism anymore. Now it's just straight up Pravda propaganda at this point. It's sad. We talk about it pretty much every live stream. At some point, the whole thing's going to collapse. Or it'll just take over and it'll just be 1984. Those are the two ways. Which way, Western man? Which way? You know what? I might take a second to, what do we got going on here? Well, I know how much you guys love Kingstone Comics. So you're going to love this. Are you looking to help the next generation in understanding and engaging in the Bible? The Kingstone Bible is the most complete graphic adaptation of the Bible ever done and is the perfect product for helping young adults read, dive into, and interact with the Bible. This graphic Bible helps young adults understand the historical timelines of the Bible, learn about both well-known and lesser-known characters, and Orthodox Christian teachings. Top comic artists from Kingstone Comics have created a stunning 2,000-plus page graphic novel. Let me repeat that. 2,000-plus page graphic novel to capture the whole Bible from Genesis to Revelation. The entire Old Testament and New Testament is available either as a hardcover trilogy or in 6 soft cover volumes. With the Kingstone Bible, young adults can read scripture from cover to cover and many times retain the content longer than traditional text. Find this and more exciting products at kingstonecomics.com. That's kingstonecomics.com. Well, that was masterful. That was masterful. Let's see. JJ Nevada says Fetterman refused to go to the DNC. I did see something about that. I don't know what happened. It seems like his stroke fixed him somehow. I know, at least kind of partly fixed them. Anyway. Rumbum says that may have been your best ad read yet. I think it may have been. All right. Well, let's check out Greg Gutfeld here. Greg Gutfeld. I think he's really, like, I stopped watching Fox after Tucker left because that's all I really watched. I watched a bit of Gutfeld, though, as well. I still think he's good.
Surprised nobody has called out the inherent racism of the Democrat Party. First, you're employing a wall. That's racist. Then you have this heavy presence of police. We know that's racist. And then you have this mandatory ID business, which is, of course, as you know, in an effort to be transparent, that is racist. So when border towns want a wall, racist. Business owners plead for police protection, racist. People want transparent elections, racist. But it's not racist when the Dems realize it's necessary. It's necessary to protect their power, themselves. It's just like when Cory Bush, was for defunding the police but had private security. This is that times 10. Does anybody tell the Democrats that the police also carry guns and that many of these police officers are white men? Right there are two racist dog whistles, right-wing elements that they're, again, exploiting for their personal behalf. It's kind of disgusting, but you're right. It is infuriating that basic things people need for their own safety and security is denied them, but for them, they get it whenever they want.
Well, what this speaks to is the basic duality of modern leftism, right? Double think. Let's think double think from 1984. Now, because they don't believe in objective reality anyway. I mean, these are the people who will tell you smugly that sometimes 2 + 2 actually does equal 5. Right? So these are the people who don't believe in objective reality anyway. So it's just a matter of just creating your reality where you want it. So sometimes walls are bad, sometimes they're good, right? Sometimes it's bad to keep people out, sometimes it's good, depending on political expediency. Sometimes guns are bad, sometimes they're good, though, for them. Right? They like them when it's for them. And that might even, sometimes some things are good and sometimes they are bad. But for them, it's just totally indiscriminate. It's just a matter of whatever is politically expedient for right now is what matters. That's it. Protesting is good sometimes when it benefits them, when it's politically expedient for them. Protesting's bad sometimes when it's not politically expedient for them. Well, they seem to be able to turn any protest either for them or against them to their benefit. Take a look at January 6th, right? But in any case, because there's no principles and because reality doesn't matter. Because there's no principles and because reality doesn't matter. It's just a matter of just choosing whatever works in the moment, whatever's politically expedient right now. And I think that's pretty obvious at this point. Like, take a look at this. Chicago cops out in full force. So, I mean, they can maintain law and order when they want to, say at DNC or say, in San Francisco when the leader of the CCP shows up. When there's a totalitarian leader from China shows up, they can do it. In Chicago, they can do it when they need to be safe, at their event, they can do it. All of a sudden, it doesn't look like there's any defunding of the police going on here for their DNC, does it? Huh. Again, I mean, it's good sometimes. They're not really what it's just about is power. It's using power in a way that benefits them. Right? They'll always protect themselves. Benny Johnson says, I don't blame Kamala for being an alleged alcoholic if she has to sit through dinner with friends like these. This is a good time to shut down the YouTube part of the stream. Of course, we're streaming both on YouTube and Rumble right now, but the YouTube one, we usually shut down after 45 minutes, an hour, something like that. If you're watching on YouTube right now and you want to continue watching, come over to Rumble. The water's great. Everybody in the chat, so friendly. They'll welcome you right in. And you'll have to do that if you want to keep watching because YouTube is going to get shut down right now because it's we call it Stalin Tube. You can call it MaoTube if you want. That also works. But yes, StalinTube is fairly intolerant of dissenting ideas. The very next word I say could be the one that gets me a channel strike, right? It doesn't even matter what word. It's all just so arbitrary. So, yeah, we have to shut down YouTube and then continue onward, continue bravely onward on Rumble. So if you're watching on YouTube right now, hope to see you on Rumble. Good night. That sigh of relief.